JWL Sports, where we review all the best sports clips from around the world. If this is your first time checking out a video, please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. We're watching a clip of First Things First, talking about the Kansas City Chiefs and how, as you can see on the screen, that they signed Marquise Brown to a one-year deal. Now, I was thinking about how I wanted to do this clip because I think I got to do a victory lap. I really don't want to do victory laps, honestly. I really don't. I don't like this idea of being like, I'm right, you're wrong, or then when I'm wrong, you guys are all like, you're wrong. You know, I mean, I get it. Sometimes that can be fun. That's what Nick Wright has kind of done a lot of, right? That's why he makes these big, bold predictions, because when he's right, he gets to be like, I told you. I was the only one that said this. And if he's wrong, everyone's like, you were wrong. And either way, it's attention on him. I get it. To me, it's very 12-year-old, nonsense to me, right? That was the stuff that I did when I was like literally in grade school, where I'd be like, I'm gonna beat you, in some game, and if I lost, and I was like, I'll make a bet, right? Like, I'm gonna have to, do this thing, shave my head, whatever it was. And either way, it worked for me because I either won and I was like, that's right, I'm the best, or if I lost, all the attention was still on me, which at the end of the day in grade school, I love the attention. So and I get it, it obviously works, and so I'm again on the fence, but right now I got to do my victory lap, because all of you Kansas City Chiefs fans want to keep telling me that I'm a hater, that I'm wrong, 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 even though I'm pretty much have been right about the Chiefs every single year except for 1 year. Outside of that, I had them. And actually, one of the years that I was wrong, it was when I thought they were going to beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I was literally rooting for them. I digress. But I said that the Chiefs need to upgrade. I said that. I said Patrick Mahomes needs help. The Chiefs as a whole need help, that they need to improve. And you guys all said, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're doubting them. Go ahead, go doubt them like everyone else doubts them, and you'll be wrong, you'll be wrong, you'll be wrong. And then what happened? Patrick Mahomes restructured his contract to add an extra $20-some million. That's a lot of freaking money in the NFL, guys, especially for non-quarterback players, to be able to spend that money around. And they went out and got Brown, a great wide receiver, top wide receiver. People forgot because of, he was pretty much off in, La La Land in Arizona, not being able to do much. But he is a great wide receiver. And so, again, if the Chiefs didn't think they needed extra help, if Patrick Mahomes didn't think he needed extra help, why did he renegotiate and to give more money up on the cap? Why did they go out and get Marquise Brown? Why did they do these things? Is it because they think that they needed more help? Because they know how close of calls these games were? Is it because they know better than anyone else in the entire NFL and any fan base ever that they know that they easily could have lost some of these games in the playoffs? That they easily could have lost the Super Bowl? Do you think Andy Reid is a fool and Patrick Mahomes is a fool that they didn't realize how fortunate they were to have Greenlaw get injured, to have, the fumble hit the leg, to have Christian McCaffrey fumble the ball? Do you think that they're not like, that they're just oblivious to all of that? Do you think that they realize that going into overtime and having to play nearly the entire quarter of overtime just to win the game, how close it really, really was? Yeah, I think they know. I think they know better than me. They know better than you. They know better than anyone else, which is why they did what they did, okay? So this idea that they didn't need any of this and that I was just being a hater, I have to say, I was proven correct. And you can't deny that. You can't deny that. I'm going to be obnoxious for a second. You can't deny that, okay? If you guys always want to tell me all the times that I'm wrong, then you got to admit when I'm right. This 1000% proves that I was right. So let's just see what Nick has to say, because he's just going to say that I was right too. But let's see how he manipulates the situation. He's probably going to predict that they're going to go undefeated or some nonsense like that.
Kansas City goes to Hollywood. Chiefs sign Marquise Brown to a
classic one
year.
Wilds.
$11 million?
$7 million.
With incentives?
Yeah.
Okay. The dynamic receiver shared a text from Andy Reid, who sealed the deal, saying, Hollywood, think red today. KC red with diamonds. Wink, wink. Yeah. Signed, Andy Reid. Yes, sir. Love the sound of that. With a heart emoji and a diamond ring. Think Hollywood Brown. Lights,
this is the
camera,
cheesiest texting I've ever seen.
So good.
It's fantastic. Here's Hollywood's numbers in his career. 5 seasons, 7 targets, 4 catches, about 50 yards, 11 yards, so you get a little bit more of a downfield threat with 28 touchdowns. I mean, You asked me to ask you this in the meeting.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did. Is 20-0 back on the board?
Oh my God, I called that, and I
mean,
do not watch this clip.
It's always on the board.
Oh my
As
God.
long as Mahomes is there and Reed's there, it's on the board.
But you're not. I mean, don't say anything crazy.
I am not. The draft hasn't happened. There's things we don't know if Snead's coming back or not.
He's going to.
So it is on the board. I mean, they are more likely to go 20-0 than they are to not be in the AFC title game. I know that. I mean, so they are more like so. But here is the more about Hollywood Brown. It's not yet. The reason I said Classic One is I told you on Wednesday they're going to get one of these remaining guys on 1-year cheap prove-it deal because the Chiefs are now in the rarefied air of not necessarily hometown discounts, but free agent discounts.
I buy
People want to come play for them.
It's the new Brady discount.
And yeah, except the Chiefs, will actually spend the money as opposed to hoard it, as the Crafts seem to.
We did.
And so he is a good player. He's not a great player. He's a good player, but he's a good player on a great contract. And so I want to show you a tweet from our friends at Spot Rack about the wide receiver contract signed. So Ridley's a better player, got a bunch of money. Gabe Davis, 3 for 39. Mooney, 3 for 39. Samuel, 3 for 24. And then Hollywood Brown, 1 for 7. So let's compare those 3 other players to Hollywood Brown. They're all around the same age, 26, 27, 26, 24. The games are...
Okay, but this is the problem, okay? And this is why I don't really care about any of the stats for any of these players, really, more than anything. Because it does not matter. Because let's look at all their uniforms that they're playing with, okay? Outside of Josh Allen and the Bills, but he's 24, youngin'. As well as the Bills don't know how to run an offense. They just expect Josh Allen to be able to do everything. And their OC's been trash. Then we have the Chicago Bears. Are we serious here? Like, are we serious here? And the Washington Commanders. With like Sam Howell. And again, I don't know how many seasons each of the like how many games they've been playing with each quarterback and with regards to that. But like, let's not pretend that any of these wide receivers have really been in true ideal situations, whether it be because of the coaching or the quarterback. Save any of your hate of Josh Allen, not listening to it, and don't care about it for this specific video. But so this idea that we're going to be comparing these numbers to me is kind of silly. 1,000%.
Not the same. Samuel's played the most, but they're, same area.
Touchdowns are there.
Hollywood's got the most yards, the most touchdowns, and far and away the cheapest contract.
Yeah.
So do I think Hollywood Brown is, drastically better than Curtis Samuel or Mooney? No, not necessarily. I think he has more upside. That's why he was first-round pick. But the fact that the Chiefs didn't have to commit multiple years of guarantees, that it's a $7 million deal, and now, and this is to me the most exciting part, they can let the draft come to them. There is no flashing red light must draft at 32. If there's a great tackle they love, they'll draft him. If there's a great receiver they love, they'll draft him. If they want to take Snead's eventual replacement, or if they want to buttress the defensive tackle rotation alongside Chris Jones, they can do any of those things because it's not like, oh my God, we have this gaping hole. And so, so everything keeps coming up.
Here's another one. You'll like this even more. So you showed that Hollywood Brown's numbers are similar. So here's what Warren Sharpe tweeted.
Wow.
Baltimore's pass rate when he was with the Ravens with Greg Roman, number 29 in the league at 51%. Arizona with Cliff Kingsbury was number 16, and the Chiefs are number 1 for the last 5 years. So all of a sudden, he's going to be seeing a lot more balls, spread the field a little bit of a...
That was largely what I was trying to point out, to a degree with compare. That's why stats are so misleading for that exact reason. That's why you can't just look at these, hard numbers of how many touchdowns, how many passing yards. It's like, who's the quarterback? How often are they passing? Are you getting blown out by games? Are you winning? What's the record? Have you been competitive? Have you been in first all? Because it wasn't even based off games. It was I don't even know if their seasons and the amount of games they played were even equated. So that was a nonsense chart before.
Downfield threat that we talked about. Mahomes just dinking and dunking and winning Super Bowls.
I mean, also, Lamar is a dynamic player. Is not nearly the passer Patrick Mahomes is.
No, I think that's...
Kyler is a dynamic player, is a good passer, but Hollywood didn't get him for the full time. Hollywood got hurt, and then Kyler got hurt, and then Kyler was back. This is demonstrably better quarterback play than Hollywood Brown's ever been able to be a part of. And it fits a need. And so Rashee Rice is not so much of a downfield threat. He's more of a yak guy. Hollywood Brown is. And so, yeah.
What's the deal with Kadarius Toney?
What do you mean, what's the deal with Kadarius
Toney?
Of course he's staying.
Okay.
So, yeah. I mean, there's not a whole lot more to add than that. Nick didn't even really say a whole ton, quite honestly. But the only thing that stands out that Nick said to me was that 20-0 is always on the board, which is just silly, quite honestly, just absurd. If you couldn't even beat the Raiders last season, and you lost to the Philadelphia Eagles last season, I don't see how you're thinking you're going to go 20-0. Do I think that the Chiefs are going to be very competitive? Absolutely. Do I think that the Chiefs have a chance to win the Super Bowl again? Absolutely. Do I think the Chiefs have a chance to make it to the AFC Championship game? Absolutely. Do I think though that this coming season is going to be harder than it was last season? I do. I 100% do. The Chiefs really had such a significantly smaller margin of error than they had in years past when their offense was just wheeling and dealing and unstoppable. I think people also don't want to acknowledge Travis Kelce. We just saw that Aaron Donald retired, okay? And he was talking about retiring before. So he was hanging on by a thread, and ultimately kind of got seduced back to come back at the chance of winning another championship. And also, obviously, money never hurts. And that is what you're going to be seeing with Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce is hanging on. He said it. This is one of the best things that, Colin Cowherd has brought up, where he talks about how when a player starts talking about retirement, that means it's near. It's very near. It's on their mind. They're thinking about it. It's the beginning of the end. That is where Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce talked about his body breaking down on him. Those are his words. He literally said, not a day goes by that I don't feel every single surgery, 10 plus surgeries a day. It wears you down. Being in chronic pain 24/7, it wears you down. His production was already worn down. Okay, that's just a reality. You just look at the numbers. Okay, so to think that trajectory is not going to continue, that's wishful thinking. So I'll be curious to see that if Travis continues at that decline and it's steep enough, what that does for Patrick Mahomes, because Patrick Mahomes has never really had to play without Travis Kelce being an elite, first ballot Hall of Famer. And if he now starts to play not at a first ballot Hall of Fame level, again, it's not to say that he's going to be a scrub. He's still going to be great, and you can still trust him. But again, you just don't know what type of energy he's going to be able to bring, what type of consistency you will be able to see. And at this point of his career, also the risk of him missing 3, 4, 5 games is a real thing. Every single game he's hobbled and limping. He never comes off the field not like limping and hobbled. That catches up to you. Just because you're able to bounce back, at that point doesn't mean tomorrow you will be able to. I'm not calling for Travis Kelce just to like collapse and he's going to be a shell of himself, but the end is near for Travis Kelce. That's just a reality. And so I'm just curious to see what that does, for Mahomes and the Chiefs. But obviously I think Brown, is going to be a good pickup. And I think the Chiefs will be able to do well with him, and Andy Reid will be able to scheme well with him. I think they'll be able to utilize him in a way that will definitely make the Chiefs, much better on offense, which is obviously what they need. And so, yeah, I think it's going to be, it's definitely going to be an interesting year, honestly, because if the Chiefs continue to get better, as well as the other teams around them continue to get better, which they are, then, like I said, it'll be interesting because we have a lot of younger teams or teams that were injured last season that are now more mature, more organized, or hopefully healthier. And so I think we'll have we'll have a significantly more competitive season coming up than we did this last season. I think a lot of games were lost rather than won. And I think this coming season, hopefully, we'll have more games that are won rather than lost. And there is a difference. And quite frankly, it's more entertaining to watch teams win than lose. But those are just my thoughts. Hope you enjoyed my victory lap. Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, whether you agree with me or disagree with me. Let's get into it. Let's get into some discussions. Let's get into some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. As I said, we are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of, and I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really, really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.